Hi everybody, welcome back to OC Aviary for episode 2 of Breeding British Birds. Now, I'm keeping my voice down for a reason. It's been a very busy and very interesting past couple of weeks here in the bird room. Our native birds have started to breed, and so have the Canary. So I'm going to update you today on their progress and we'll see how they're getting on. And I've got a feeling you're going to be quite pleased with it so far. Jumping straight into it then, we've had a fantastic start to the breeding season with the Greenfinches. Now the greenies are one of the first birds to go down here. Usually it's the greenies about mid-April. If I've had siskins like I have had previously, they go down maybe a tad early at the start of April. Pretty much for everything else, you're waiting until May, and as soon as it's May, bang, and all the native birds begin breeding. But like I say, good news with the greenies so far. So we've got this year 3 flighted greenie hens and 1 unflighted greenie hen, so that's a young hen, and 3 adult hens, and we've got 3 cockbirds between the 4 that will rotate one of the cockbirds over the other hen. So this pair up at the top then, we've got some good news with. The hen spent quite a considerable amount of time actually. She probably spent about a week building a nest in that top corner, and we've had 5 eggs laid. So she's been sat on them for probably 5 or 6 days now. They're at a point where I could probably candle them. However, I'm a little bit cautious too. Generally, I don't candle too many of the native birds' eggs unless I'm really concerned about their fertility. And right now, I have no reason to be. I've seen the cockbird mating with her, and to be honest, she doesn't even get off the nest. The cockbird has been doing a fantastic job of taking care of her, never seen her off the nest. He's always going and feeding her and picking up water after the drinker and giving her a drink as well. So she's been doing a fantastic job, and as a pair, actually, as a unit, they've been doing great. So I'm really quite pleased with that. Now with native birds, even though they've been bred in captivity for decades, they're still quite timid at times and do scare quite easily. So something I've been doing, and I've been doing it over the past few years with the natives, is whenever I've got them in a cage environment breeding like this, I always add that foliage around the outside of the nest site, but make sure there are obvious gaps where the hen can see where I am at all times. So you might notice her now, she keeps poking her head out and she's watching me. When I come in the shed, I open the door, she hears that and she can see me. If I completely covered it up so she couldn't see me at all, she'd be much more prone to getting startled and coming off the nest, possibly smashing the eggs or abandoning them. So I always do this, and it's worked really well for me in the past couple of years. She always knows where I am, and I can check up on her progress as well. It's not just one single pair of greenies we've got success with either. We've got a second pair here that have built a lovely little nest. Now this is a 2022 bred pair, both of them 2022 bred birds, and both of them bred for me last year, however not together. Now they've built this nest over the past couple of days, and to be honest, I expected the first egg today. They build quite robust nests, and their particular favourite is cocoa fibre to build out of. I will give them a bit of jute and kapok and a little bit of sisal as well, but it's pretty much all cocoa fibre. And the nests are designed to put the eggs on quite a solid surface where the hen can rotate them. And also the chicks grow pretty quickly, so they don't want to be getting tangled in any softness in the bottom, similar to how a chaffinch or a goldfinch's nest would be. But great signs from this pair so far, in great condition. Seen them feeding each other, seen them mating, and the cockbird singing his head off all the time. So hopefully we might get a couple of eggs following in the coming days. Over here in the aluminium flight cages then, we have my best pair of greenfinches, and they are housed in what I'm calling the Penthouse suite now. It's probably the best breeding environment I've got here. Loads of foliage, and the birds absolutely love it. Now, I'm quite keen to breed off this pair. It's my best cockbird and my best hen, so trying to get some youngsters off them is particularly important if I want to try and succeed on the show bench with my greenfinches in the coming years. Now, if you've kept birds before, particularly native birds, you'll know that they don't like to do things the normal way or the easy way. They like to complicate things, and that's exactly what the pair have done. They got a choice of 2 nest sites, a chapel-style nest site and a nest pan with a grass liner, but they decided in their infinite wisdom to build a nest on the foliage in the back corner, and that's not ideal. The nest was not structurally sound, And that was proven a couple of days after it being built because the hen laid an egg that went straight through the bottom and smashed on the floor. So that was not an ideal start. Now what I decided to do was take one of the cocoa liners I've got spare and put what was left of the nest into that, so we had a sound surface for it to build on, and I've hooked it onto the mesh where that original nest site was. So it's a third nest site for them, but that worked for us. In the hours that followed after doing that, she built a full nest, and in the days that followed, we've had 4 eggs laid, and she's since been sat on them for just over a week now. Now, the cockbird's been doing a great job. He's been feeding her, he's been helping her maintain the nest. So I can't really fault him. I haven't actually seen this pair mate, but I haven't been looking, to be quite honest. But he's been singing his head off. They've been getting on quite well. So I'm really hopeful, fingers crossed, that we might get some success out of this pair. Enough with the Greenfinches then. What about our lesser redpolls? Now, in the previous episode, I mentioned that I won't even be giving them their nest sites for a few weeks, and that's still where I stand at today. It's been pretty cold here over the past week or so. We had frost a couple of mornings ago, so certainly not ideal with how cold it's been getting, and I think that's been reflected in the birds. Their condition has been, so I say, slightly pushed back. The cockbirds have been twilling and the hens have been showing obvious signs of wanting to go to nest, but they're just not as bouncy right now because of the temperatures. So quite happy to leave them for another couple of weeks yet. I might wait until maybe the 1st of May and I might give them their nest site if the weather's warmed up considerably by that time. But to check their condition, what I've been doing is giving the hens a little bit of nest material, a little bit of sisal, putting it through the cage bars and seeing what they've been doing with it. And they've been pulling it apart, carrying the material, flying around and getting on quite well. So I'm hopeful that we might have a good breeding season with them when I let them start. But so far, fairly so good with the redpolls. It couldn't be any better or any worse. The last couple of weeks has seen immense progress from the canaries. Obviously, being a domestic species with very easy requirements by comparison to the native birds means that they are somewhat easier to breed, and that's proven. So 6 pairs of North Dutch frills, of which 5 have laid and have got eggs, and they are sat right now. So we have a pair in the centre which haven't laid, the only pair, which is a variegated cinnamon cockbird with a self green hen. They're both outcrossers that I brought in for the season, and I just think maybe the hen's a later bred bird, perhaps just lacking a little bit in maturity at the moment, but I'm hoping we might get something off them soon. But for the rest of them, they've all been sat over a week. Some of them are due in the next few days, but I don't know if they're fertile, so I think it's about time we candle them and see if they are. So that's great news that we've got a number of full eggs from the North Dutch frill pairs. Obviously, a couple from the white pairs, and we've got some from the clear cinnamon hen that I bred last year as well. So a great start to the season with the canaries, as you would probably expect. So next week, we might have the first new life of 2024 in the bird room, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So for the rest of the species here at OC Avery then, they're doing well. It's just perhaps a little bit early before they start breeding yet. Saying that, I have seen a couple of exciting things today, but you'll have to wait until next week's episode to see and hear more about that. So anyway, everyone, if you've enjoyed today and you'd like to see more, please make sure to subscribe down below, smash a like on this video and follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook for daily updates and behind the scenes footage of all of our birds. Now, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.